All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ask the Experts here on Talk Radio 1190, where we interview local professionals here in the beautiful Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, North Texas, to be exact. Well, on their area of expertise, of course. I'm the host of the show, Matt Cather, and joining me on today's show is the owner of Rescue Air, Josh Campbell. Really excited to talk to him today. Before we get to him, you can find Rescue Air online at rescueairtx.com. That's rescueairtx.com. Phone number 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. You can call or text that number. Either one is totally fine with them. And last but not least, one of my favorite things that they got going on, it's Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. That's Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. A ton of great stuff on there. Customer testimonials, a little bit behind the scenes of before and after stuff. And more importantly, if you do miss the show or hear on the Ask the Experts, well, the guys over there, they upload every previous show of Ask the Experts that they do here on their YouTube channel. So give it a listen. If you miss one show, you can go back to their YouTube channel, and they'll have it there ready to go for you. Welcome to the show, Josh. How you doing today, sir?
I'm so good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited for the show today. I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a little bit, and it's Father's Day weekend, so happy Father's Day to everybody out there, especially you, sir.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm a newer father. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old.
Hey,
I'm putting in work.
Yeah, I would say that's the hard part of the situation. So, even more applause. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today, Josh, and let's not waste any time. Let's kind of get right into things. We've been talking past couple weeks in regards to some shortages and what you guys are kind of dealing with in your business. Why don't we kind of get into that in regards to what are you all seeing out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, the equipment shortage is beyond real. We're a large company, so we have the ability. We have good buying power, right? So it gives us the ability to find stuff that other companies, smaller companies, might not be able to get their hands on. I've talked to a lot of friends who own smaller companies, and I feel terrible for them. They can't get a lot of these smaller companies can't get anything except for off-brand, and we're fortunate. We probably have half of what we normally have available. So it's the equipment shortage is real, especially coils. That's the indoor side that the refrigerant flows through. They've got crazy labor shortages, and the factories, people, the term I've heard many times is they can't get people to come back to work. Wow. So I interesting conversation yesterday was like, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation about this manufacturing going back overseas because of it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about it, and now we're dealing with it because of COVID.
It's
we're
real.
really, and because of COVID, it's we're kind of an eye-opening experience for a lot of people here in the States in regards to manufacturing and whatnot. But
yeah,
equipment-wise, so you're dealing with that. You brought up refrigerant as well. What's up with the refrigerant, and that kind of plays into the coils, right?
Yeah, it does. So now my perspective is, and I know what we're doing. A lot of this refrigerant, they had how much they thought they're going to have to manufacture. This is what I believe is happening. I don't have anything to back it up, but we're charging so many systems because of warranty coils, new young coils that are leaking, that I think would have been replaced. I think that's a big part of it. And then you just keep charging them, and you run out of refrigerant. And they were, if you put a new system in or a new coil in, you wouldn't have to charge it but just the one time on the initial startup. So what happens is, I think if you keep charging up coils because you can't get them, that's going to create some shortages in refrigerant. And then, you've got the other reasons, the labor shortages and COVID shutting down factories. You add it all up, and now the new refrigerant, the one that's supposed to be in abundance, has nearly tripled in price over the last 3 months, my cost, and we'll go in and they're like, you can only they're limiting how much you can purchase. So,
oh wow,
I think that shortage is, yesterday an expert told me that he he was forecasting 3 months of refrigerant shortage before they'd be able to get caught back up. So prices are going to start going nuts on refrigerant. That's for sure.
And
That's to control it.
And that's essentially for everybody.
That's for everybody.
Yeah.
There's, that when you say refrigerants in shortage, when they're talking about, like, they're telling me how many hundreds of tanks they have at given distributors. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
That's a very, very limited amount. So there's more refrigerant needed to go in units right now than there is refrigerant to put in them.
Now, when we were talking about the equipment issue of things, now is this kind of over the whole broad spectrum of equipment, or is there certain things that you're really looking at that's been a problem?
Yeah, right. So all the middle of the road stuff's gone.
Okay.
It seems like. So, like, if you imagine going to a car dealership and you're looking at an F-Series pickup, and all we have is a new King Ranch, or we have our roll-down window construction model. Which one do you want? I mean, it's not a lot of selection. It's like, you want the $25,000 truck, or you want the $75,000 truck?
So essentially, you guys are dealing with top of the line stuff, and then all the way to the bottom of the spectrum.
Yeah, and if you want something in the middle, just be prepared to wait.
Yeah.
I mean, it could take weeks, and who can wait in this heat? So
especially here in Texas.
What I would say, if I was going to give a piece of advice, just to interject, go if your unit's not in great shape, get a pro out, get a good install one, because you want to know that you're not going to have a problem. Most failures occur in the first few weeks. You don't want to find yourself down. So if you hire the wrong guy in the first few weeks later, it's down. Now you're in a real pickle. But hire a good contractor. Get your unit replaced ahead of time, because you could order it, maybe 3 or 4 weeks from now when it comes in. You can go have it done. So get your unit replaced before it crashes, and don't find yourself under the gun to buy something.
And I think this kind of, one of the main things we talk about, because it's so important, is preventive maintenance and kind of having everything looked at or done before things hit the fan. And
that's right.
And that is something we're kind of making sure we say on this show, because it's really important right now, because we're talking about equipment. Obviously, there's a shortage of equipment, but the parts is the issue too. So if you do have maintenance, you might be looking at some time that you have to wait for the parts to come in. Is that correct?
It's crazy. So we have customers, we put a new system in for them, right? And then, this is affecting everyone. Let's say you had a unit put in 3 months ago, and then for some reason you have a warranty part go bad, a control board.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have them.
Yeah.
And then, I got customers that are saying, what do you want me to do? I bought a new unit so I wouldn't have this problem. And I'm like, well, there's no nice way to say, well, you're less likely to have a problem while you're broken down.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a smart choice. But you're waiting for the part, and we don't make parts. You know what I mean? We just provide the best equipment we possibly can, and then we all cross our fingers. It's like if you had a new car and it broke down, and there was no part. You bought a new car so you wouldn't find yourself in the doghouse, and there you are.
Well, the car industry is dealing with a lot in itself too, so that kind of...
Yeah, we can't find service vehicles. I'm paying sticker price if I can even get one.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. The inventory is super low right now. I mean, even rental car companies, I don't know if you've seen the rental car companies' prices these days. It's because of the same situation with them getting new products in. It's crazy out there.
Matt, you can listen to this. We moved our call center into a more open windowed area, just for morale, to take better care of our people. And the room that was the call center was in, we need a training area. And I was trying to get tables. We're talking about like plastic mold injection, like Sterilite banquet room tables. Unless you want a 6-foot table, good luck. You can't. There's a table shortage. I don't know what's not in shortage right now.
Well, and I guess we'll kind of move on with that. It's the lumber is crazy right now, but obviously you guys don't deal with that as much. Sheet metal though is definitely an issue.
Sheet metal is nuts.
And that's the same thing for that. You're seeing that very common for that as well.
Yeah, so commodities like steel, copper's gone nuts now too.
Oh yeah.
I know somebody who just bought up what they believe to be an entire's worth of copper for the summer because they know they're going to use it, and they just dump dump all your cash on it.
I was just saying, I'm sure they play.
It's going to triple.
Yeah, they probably paid 3-4 times the value of that at wholesale. I imagine,
Yeah, so we'll buy. It makes sense if you buy whatever you're going to use for the summer now.
Yeah.
Commodities are going up here, and at least you can try to control your pricing that way. Maybe they come back down. By the time you need a bunch of them, or.
And that was kind of the next question I was going to ask. I honestly, I'm probably wrong for asking this, and I'm sure you don't have the answer, but it's well worth the answer. Do you think we're going to see any progress over the next couple months, or do you need to prepare for this now?
Yeah, you're partially right in me not knowing. It's speculating. It's
it's speculating.
Talk to somebody about real estate. It seems like we're in a bubble that's going to burst. But if you look at Dallas, I mean, we'll probably have 1 million new people in the next 5 years. So how can the bubble burst?
Yeah.
As long as, if the job market goes away, but the job market's not going to go away in Dallas, I don't think. I think the rest of the country is going to see an impact that we're not going to see here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, but I can't see houses continuing to go up in a lot of these areas that are older. I can see people moving farther and farther out, and I see land going up. I think that new construction on those houses is going to be selling at a premium. It's hard to say how this all shakes out.
Well,
I think the equipment thing's real. I mean, literally executives and different manufacturers are telling me they can't get people to come back to work.
Yeah.
So if you can't get people to come make stuff, shortages won't quit. And
the chips and everything are affected. I was talking to somebody recently. They have about 30 cars on their lot. That is crazy. 30 cars on a massive car lot.
Nat, I bought this new Transit. That's the type of that's our preferred service truck.
Mm-hmm.
I ran out to Grapevine Ford, and they're fantastic to deal with. They've got they deal with corporate accounts, national accounts, and we I bought it through a Lennox dealer account. They had one, and they're like, we get them when we get them, but they normally deal 12 to 1,400 cars was the conversation I was having, and they had a couple hundred.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a fraction of what they typically have, maybe a seventh or a sixth of their normal inventory.
No, it's serious. And that's why we have you on the show on Ask the Expert today on Talk Radio 1190. A lot of crazy stuff going on, so it's good to pick your brain and get an inside look of things and kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with right now in the industry. So we appreciate you for that, sir. But we do got to take a quick break here on Ask the Experts. Remember, we're talking with Josh Campbell. He's the owner of Rescue Air. If you want to reach out to him, you can find him online at rescueairtx.com. That's rescueairtx.com. Phone number, 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. You can call or text that number call or text that number. Either one is totally fine, folks. And last but not least, like we always like to hype up here on the show, I think that's an appropriate word, Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. A great resource of information. Check that out. And like I said, if you do miss a show here on Ask the Experts, they upload the previous shows to that channel. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Josh Campbell, Rescue Air, on the other side of things. Stay tuned, guys.
Rescue Air are your experts in home comfort with emergency and same-day service available. At Rescue Air Heating and Cooling, they provide fast and affordable HVAC services. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, their technicians are equipped to take on any job, no matter the size or complexity. Unlike other HVAC companies that charge by the hour, we guarantee upfront pricing by the job. You will always know what you're paying for. And with our variety of products, your cost and quality requirements will be met. Your home's HVAC system is a complex home necessity that should only be trusted with a professional. Don't overheat this summer. Keep your home cool and comfortable by contacting Rescue Air Heating and Cooling. Don't Google for an HVAC professional. Contact Rescue Air now at 972-450-9517. That's 972-450-9517.
All right, folks, welcome back. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday morning. This is Ask the Expert here on Talk Radio 1190, where we interview local professionals here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex on their area of expertise, of course. I'm the host of the show, Matt Cather, and joining me on today's show, Always a pleasure having him on. It's Josh Campbell of Rescue Air. Before we get back to Josh, you can find him online at rescueairtx.com. That's rescueairtx.com. Phone number 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. You could call or text that number. And Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. Awesome resource and information. Check out that YouTube channel. That's Rescue Air Heating and Cooling. All right, Josh, we'll jump right back into things. We were talking about the phone number. I know you've been getting a lot. I mean, business is still booming. What have you been hearing from the phone lines? What have people been calling in and kind of been needing your services for these days?
Yeah, so it's crazy. Our number one call is still our number one call. It's a new unit that's installed less than 2 years old that somebody else put in for them, and that guy won't come out. It's the most discouraging thing in the world. We get these calls, and it's maybe, I'd bet at least 20% of our calls is someone who's saying, "Hey, I've got a new unit. It's only a couple years old, but it won't work. And the guy who put it in for me won't come out and work on it. He won't even answer the phone, or he's not in business."
That's a common reoccurrence.
That's our number one call.
How do you handle that?
We can't get to them. We want the new business, but we're so busy. In the last week, we've turned away over 300 demand calls. So this is a great new customer for us that has no air conditioning, needs help, and we're booked out. We're taking care of our own customers. We our maintenance agreement customers, our warranties, our rec work. It's hard to pick and choose, but we have a list of the way we got to handle it, and we're like, just keep trying that guy, see if you can get him out there. We've got our own warranty stuff to handle. We don't have the ability to work on other people's warranty.
Plus, you have your maintenance plan with your customers, and so that kind of plays into it, right?
Yeah, so they get priority service, and we promise that, and we honor our commitments. So, these people who've called us and they've been loyal clients, and they get their maintenance and stuff done, and we have a partnership with those clients, and we'd love to take on all the new business we can, but there's just not enough people. We don't have enough. You can't do it all.
All right, are you guys dealing with labor shortages as well?
It's crazy. Yeah. So there's technician shortages. There has been for years. I've heard numbers all the way up to 1 million nationwide technician shortage right now.
Wow.
So that's one of the things driving up costs. You got to pay these people a lot of money because they're in, supply and demand. Works with people too. Works with manpower. And so we're hiring for technicians, for maintenance techs. Heck, we're even hiring for call center.
Right on. Well, that's for anybody out there listening. It's like I said, we're talking to Rescue Air here on Ask the Experts. So not only are we giving you information, awesome stuff in regards to heating and cooling, if you're looking for a job, give them a call.
Yeah, if you're mechanically inclined and you're listening, or you know somebody who is, you got a family member, a sibling, a kid. I mean, if somebody wants to get a leg in the door, we're the perfect place to come. We can start you out in warehousing, teach you what everything is, put you through school. 2-3 years after working with us, you've got a legitimate career. I've got guys that are 3 and 4 years in making 6 figures. It's wild. If you're mechanically inclined and you got good people skills, you can make a lot of money, and you're a hard worker. If you like to be your own boss, kind of. I love what I do, and our team members do too. So highly recommend it.
There was something we were kind of talking off air. What was one of the main things that you really wanted to let listeners know today? And it totally drew my mind. It was in regards to what
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I was going to give some personal advice to anybody out here listening, and this is probably obvious, but be proactive. Don't wait till your thing's broken. You're going to be in a spot. You're either going to buy a really expensive piece of equipment. If your unit's running and it's a dinosaur, you've been having issues with it, get somebody out and take care of it, plan it, and then you can get something put in without having to make a decision under duress. I hate that situation. I don't even like the word hate. If you're in duress, that's no time to be making a large purchase. So I would say then, if your unit's working good and you're, go make the decision in a stable situation. and be proactive. I'd say the other thing is it's a great time to invest in your house.
Yeah.
The way houses are shooting up in value, what else? I don't even like to call a house an asset. I've never looked at them that way. And right now I'm starting to think they are, just at the rate they appreciate. And with the market we live in, the amount of people moving here, your personal home could very well be considered an asset. That's a whole nother radio show.
Yeah. No, but you're right. It's an interesting time for the housing market in good ways and bads. There's the pros and cons of everything, right?
The big cons, the lack of lumber, concrete,
yeah,
sheet metal, you name it.
Uh-huh.
That's the real con. I mean, if that wasn't a reality, we'd all be in a good shape, and labor.
And that's kind of goes back to what we were just saying. This is why we're saying being proactive, because there's plenty of times, we talk about it a lot, but if there's any time that it needs to be taken to, I guess, an all-time level serious, it's right now because of the shortage. You don't want to get caught with, I was going to make an analogy. It's not a good one, but, with your pants down, essentially, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I didn't know. But,
I heard where you were going with that one.
Yeah. In the end, the realization is if you do have an issue and you need something done immediately right now, it might not be possible because of the labor shortages, because of the equipment shortages. So being proactive right now is more important than ever for so many reasons.
Right.
For so many reasons.
Well, think about this, Matt. Let's say you charge your unit up every year, and you've got the new refrigerant, and it's been cheap. That's something somebody thinks they're probably, hey, we got our units charged in the spring, we're good to go. Well, I hear that so often.
Mm-hmm.
If you're charging your unit, that means you have a leak. That leak's going to get bigger. It's like putting an air in your tire, right?
Yeah.
The leak's not getting smaller. Well, what happens is now all of a sudden that refrigerant's tripled in price and it's unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
So when you call us up, you're like, well, my unit's only 12 years old. We put it in back in 2009. We're like, yeah, and that refrigerant's not available, and neither is the coil to replace it. And if you want to buy a new system, which is probably the responsible thing to do just for efficiency and reliability reasons, we've got just a handful of choices because you're in a spot. I would just recommend if you're one of those people that's out here and you're charging your unit every year, I'd get yourself a permanent fix and I'd be proactive because we don't know when this is going to be over,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We got a couple minutes left on the show. You got any closing remarks, pretty much an overview of what you guys do and a closing remarks of all the listeners out there?
If you're at home and if your unit's not keeping up, get yourself some maintenance done or do it yourself. Go outside with I don't care if you use Dawn dish detergent, squirt down your outdoor unit and give it a hose down with the water hose. Make sure it's not running. Turn it off at the thermostat. But I would highly recommend somebody to keep your unit good and clean. The cleaner they are, that 90% of failures are caused by dirt. Change that air filter. If you've got a bunch of registers closed around your house, open them all up. That restricts airflow and puts extra duress on your blower motor. If you've got water dripping out of your soffit, get that. That's your secondary drain, not your primary. That water's not supposed to be dripping out of your soffit. Call somebody and get them to blow that thing out. Go up in your attic, and I guarantee you'll see water in your drain pan. And there's no other line of defense. Once that goes, it comes through the ceiling. So if that water's dripping out of your soffit, do something about it. I think it's a good time for us all to be think about being proactive.
Yeah, and we don't. And certain states have the luxury of kind of maybe pushing things off, but here in Texas, you don't have that luxury. If you have AC problems, you're going to have some serious problems in your house. It's going to make your life very uncomfortable. So that's just something to put out there. Maybe here in certain places you can get away with that with this shortage right now, but in Texas, it's definitely an issue because the heat's so extreme. You don't want to be getting caught in a bad spot when things go bad. And my favorite saying, we'll wrap it up, is ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen at Rescue Air. So I always take that with you. That's my favorite thing you guys say.
Yeah, we stole that from the Ritz-Carlton. I love that one, too.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen.
It's fair with me, and I enjoy it. So we'll do it again here soon, Josh. I look forward to talking to you, and I appreciate you coming on Ask the Experts today, sir.
Thank you, Matt. It's always good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Have a good, happy Father's Day tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, happy Father's Day, everybody out there.
Yeah, guys, one more time. It's rescueairtx.com. That's rescueairtx.com. 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. Call or text that number and check out their heating and cooling YouTube channel. That's Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. We'll do it again here soon. It's been another edition of Ask the Experts.